Good morning, and we are live. It is good to see you folks this morning. I'm glad you are here. Today's show is powered by Groundwork Coffee, sent to us by Rebecca. I will not call your whole name out. You didn't give me permission in your letter. Groundwork, specifically Organic Bitches Brew. I love that. I didn't say that. It's literally the name of it, Organic Bitches Brew. I appreciate it. We just made a pot of it. You see, we opened it, haven't taken it. We just ground some up and made a pot. Let's give it a try. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I drink my coffee black. So it's got to have, it can't just be bitter. It's got to have coffee flavor in there. It can't just be bitter. I like this. My guess is it's a good all around middle of the road coffee. If you don't like the bitterness, it's really not that bitter. It's not. There are a few bitter notes in it, but not real bad. But something tells me that you could grind this down pretty fine if you wanted something that was just, dog ass strong, man. You could probably grind this down and make it something that you folks over here that I do not understand, but some people do. They really love that super strong, super bitter coffee. They do. They like those sour notes. They love that. They love that. And I really think you could probably take this and grind it down and make it a hell of a lot stronger than what we do. I'll be honest with you, I leave my grinds just a little bit coarse. A little bit coarser than what you get when you buy a large bulk coffee. It comes with a pretty much a consistent grind to it. I grind mine down just a little bit coarser than that because like I said, I want to taste my coffee. I do. I don't just want it to be sour. I don't just want it to be bitter. I want to taste the different notes. I want to taste the chocolate notes. I want to taste the nuttiness. I want to taste the, you know what I mean? It's good. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate you. I won't call you out, but you didn't give me permission, so I won't mention your last name, but thank you. I appreciate you. Let's do this. We got a lot to talk about today. I mean, a lot. There's a weird disease going around. We've got what's going on here in Texas with the Democrats fighting their asses off to block the redistricting efforts. We have got all kinds of. Elon Musk has opened up his mouth again. Just tons of stuff. Let's just dig into it. Let's dig into it. All right, people, I want to start with something stupid Elon Musk said. While you're at it, hit the thumbs up button. Let's get as many people as possible in here. We see we're starting to populate in. There's 1,300 of us now. There'll be well over 3,000 to 4,000 of us in a few minutes. Let's just keep hitting that thumbs up button so that YouTube keeps recommending this to people. Let's get it loaded. Let's do it. Elon Musk has come out with something stupid. And what this is, and the reason I want to talk about this, is it significant? No. It's not. It's not significant to the news that's going on today or whatever, but it is testimony because the overall arching theme of the show today is how do we win? I get people all the time asking me the question, how do we win? Or what do we do now? This terrible thing's happened. What do we do? How do we fight this? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're not going to start with that. We're going to end with it. But I want you to recognize this throughout the show and throughout everything you take to your social media, when you ingest social media or corporate news or whatever, how important the narrative is. And this is just pure testimony to that. This is an out of the blue, wackadoodle, crazy thing that happened. And Elon Musk is so scared of the narrative, he's done this. He's done this. So, this was actually brought to us. Again, I like you folks to have good people to follow. Supercharge your social media. This is from Laura Bassett. Laura Bassett was the former editor in charge of Jezebel. She is a writer. She's an editor. She is a great follow. Her takes on news and what's going on, and she catches news like this that a lot of people miss. She's a great follow. Laura Bassett over on Blue Sky. She's also over on Threads. Give her a follow. She's Ellie Bassett at bluesky.com. She caught this one. Elon Musk put this out a few days ago, and this is what Elon Musk said. A few days ago, a gang of about a dozen young men tried to assault a woman in her car at night in D.C. A Doge team member saw what was happening, ran to defend her, and was severely beaten to the point of concussion, but he saved her. It is time to federalize DC. Yeah. And if you believe that, I got an island to sell you. It used to belong to this guy named Jeffrey. Yeah, this is bullshit. It is fiction. It is pure fiction. It is fan fiction, but it feeds all of the narratives that right wingers love. It feeds the pure 100% fantasy bullshit about crime and be scared and we're the heroes and we're the, it feeds all of that. The problem is, and the reason he put this complete fiction out is how bad the reality actually looks. Deborah Finoglio, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. I really appreciate you. A couple of people came out and actually supported the show before I could actually get a comment to pull up. I'm truly grateful. Stephen Leach here says, thank you for your spirit, Mr. and Mrs. Texas Paul. Hello, fam. I got our ride or die hearts and skulls out there. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Okay. This is what he's selling. And I want you to imagine this. This Doge guy is supposed to be, this Doge kid is supposed to be such a hero that he charged into a dozen people, all by his little old lonesome, to fight a dozen people that were assaulting a lady. Bullshit. Bullshit. No. You want to know what really happened? You want to know what really happened? Here's another great follow for you. This was a response. This is from Anna Bauer. And another great follow for you. Someone that if you really want your social media to work for you, you want to supercharge your social media, these are the kind of people you need to follow. This is Anna Bauer. She's Anna Bauer at bluesky.social. She is the senior editor over at Lawfare. And wouldn't you know, the senior editor of Lawfare actually took the time, since this was a crime that happened on the streets of DC, there's a police report. And would you imagine that the police report does not anywhere near mirror what actually, what Elon Musk claims happened? What actually happened is nothing even close to the fiction, the fan fiction that Elon Musk is putting out there. Skeet Sayre, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Musk and Thiel want to turn America into an apartheid-era South Africa. Yes, they do, my friend. Yes, they do. And we're going to talk more about that at the end of the show. But yeah, this is actually the statement from police. I'll read it to you. On Sunday, August 3rd, 2025. At approximately 3 a.m., the suspects approached the victims who were standing next to their vehicle. The Doge guy and the girl were standing next to their vehicle. He didn't charge in with a dozen people trying to assault her. He was with her. In the 1400 block of Swan Street Northwest, the suspect demanded the victim's vehicle and then assaulted one of the victims. During the assault, an MPD cruiser pulled into the block, causing the suspects to flee. Two of the suspects were apprehended were apprehended by the on-scene officers. One of the victims was treated on the scene by DC Fire and EMS for injuries sustained in the assault. A 15-year-old juvenile male and a 15-year-old juvenile female of Hyattsville, Maryland, were arrested and charged with unarmed carjacking. Yeah. Not a dozen thugs attacking a girl and he came swooping into the. No. He and his date were out, or this person, I don't know if they're dating, I don't know their relationship, were out at 3:00 in the morning in DC. Stupid. Anyways, 3:00 in the morning, they're out, they get carjacked by two 15-year-olds. And the Doge guy got his ass whipped by a 15-year-old who was unarmed. Unarmed. Yeah, that just doesn't seem to be the same narrative now, does it? Doge tough guy gets his ass kicked by a 15-year-old, gets saved by police that happened to trip across the scene. Not exactly the same narrative now, is it? Now, why would Elon Musk freak out about this? Why would he pick this to try to sell that? Spicy gesture. Good morning, Texas Paul. Hope your coffee is good. Hell, I hope it's better than mine. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah, unarmed. Unarmed. Two unarmed 15-year-olds. Yeah. Why? Because it was going to be a great story. It is going to be a great story. Doge guy gets his ass whipped by a 15-year-old in a carjacking. So why lead with the bullshit? Because narratives matter, people. Narratives matter. They're powerful. They are powerful. Folks, I saw this post on Instagram, and it was from and granted, attractive 30-something-ish female, MAGA freak, physically attractive. Everything else was ugly about her, but physically attractive. And she's a grifter over on Instagram. She's a right-wing grifter. And she sells this bullshit 24/7. I was flipping through yesterday and one of I don't follow her, but once in a blue moon, one of her posts pop up. And it gets stuck in my algorithm because I'll go in and I'll read the comments. Because these narratives matter. And her post was a video of a young girl saying it's so hard to find a liberal boyfriend, opining about there's nothing but Republican shit stains where she's at. She hates these people. They're gross. Well, they flip that around. She flips this around and says, well, yeah, you can't find a liberal boyfriend because they're all gay. And the comments exploded with weak, pitiful little right-wing cucks that somebody told them that they were tough and that they were the good men and the liberal men were all gay. Remember, I told you, this is a culture for them. It's not about politics. It's not about policy. They don't care. Donald Trump could rape a child on Fifth Avenue and not lose a single one of these people. They're lousy, horrible, small people. It goes back to that old Lyndon Johnson's explanation of how you get to bigoted white men. You tell the lowliest white man that he's better than the highest black man, and you don't have to pick his pockets. Hell, he'll if you give him somebody to look down on, he'll turn his pockets out for you. It's really that simple. And these narratives are important. So when you get a real world 100% thing that happens, Doge guy gets his ass whipped by a 15-year-old. who was going to take his car. Yeah, that narrative matters. That is anti everything they feed these right-wing freaks. Remember, they feed to them all day long. They feed to them all day long that they're the tough guys. They are, they're the one with the jobs. They're the patriots. It has nothing to do with policy, folks. They don't care. That's why I want to, touch on this Epstein stuff. Yes, it matters to us, and it matters that the corporate media keep putting out headlines like Republicans call for the release of the Epstein files, and some Democrats. No, the numbers are over 90% of Democrats want to release the Epstein files, and it's only 80% of Republicans that have called for the release of the Epstein files. And the only reason there's 80% of Republicans is because they have been told that there's only Democrats in the Epstein files. The minute that they find out that it's chock full of Republicans, they're not going to want the Epstein files anymore. It's the Democrats that say, I don't give a damn who's in it. Well, Bill Clinton might be in it. Well, I don't give a damn if Bill Clinton's in it. Release the fucking files. That's where Democrats are. The narratives matter. What we say matters. And I want you to remember that for the end of the show when we talk about how we win. How we win. How we motivate our voters, because we're not immune to this. We're human beings. It's not just MAGA that are susceptible to narratives. The difference between us and MAGA, and then I'll let this go and move on. The difference between us and MAGA, and I will tell you this as somebody that is on the left that faces this challenge, a right-wing commentator can say anything. And as long as the message is you're special and you're better than Democrats, they will eat it up. Right-wingers will eat it up without question. Without question. On the left, I can show video of Democrats being better people than Republicans, and you will question. You will want to know, tell me the background of the video. Tell me the full story of what happened here. Tell me we are different people. We have different brains, people. We have different brains. Literally, when you CAT scan somebody on our side of the political spectrum and someone on the conservative side of the political spectrum, their brains are hugely prone to fear. The portion of the brain that is responsible for fear and the fight or flight portion is huge in conservatives. They are afraid all the time. That's why they are more susceptible to this stuff. And that's why we reason things out and question. But anyways, I'm going to leave it at that because we actually have other things to talk about that are really interesting. This came across my desk and is really freaking fascinating. There is a new disease that is growing. Silly Bebo in the house. Thank you. That tough guy attitude encouragement is negatively contributing to the men's mental health. It is. It really is. It really is. And it's elevating in their shitosphere over there on the right, really fucking disgusting people. I mean, that's how they end up adoring Donald Trump. That's how they end up adoring, fucking human traffickers like Andrew Tate. And that's why, I tell you, people do not vote to say thank you. They do not. If people voted to say thank you, Democrats would control every office at every level of government because we'll govern. We will keep the buses running. We will keep the lights on. We will keep that's what we do. That's part of what we do. We believe in governing. We believe in government. If people voted to say thank you, we would control every office. They don't. They vote to say fuck you. And the Republicans are extremely good at farming outrage. But anyways, I want to drop that. We're going to come back to it later on in the show. Stick with me. Skeet Sayer. It is based on racism that is the root of it all. America never made the end of the Civil War right, and this is where we are. We need to win in 2026. Yes, and that has to do with the differences in our brains. It does. They are afraid. So racism is folks, to you, it makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. To them, it's a matter of survival. Their very survival is what drives their views. They believe it in their hearts. This stuff that they're telling you, this isn't just manipulation. This is broken fucking people. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. Clinton derangement syndrome is bad. Yeah, tell me about it, brother. I love it. The Republicans, last thing I'm going to say on this, and it's going to be much more of our news going forward. It is. They have decided to hold hearings on the Epstein files. True to God. Yeah, they did. The Republicans have figured out they are dying over this. So they're going to try to flip the script, and they're going to run hard, and they're going to try to use these hearings that they're presenting to you as Epstein files hearings, as in they're going to try to relitigate Russiagate. They've subpoenaed Bob Mueller. Yeah. They've subpoenaed both Bill and Hillary Clinton. They are scheduled in mid-October. Bill Clinton said, okay, yeah, I'll come talk to you. And he's going to humiliate them. He is. He's going to humiliate them in October. He's got a lot to answer for how much he flew on Epstein's jet, and that will come up. But all of this is going to come out, folks. It is. And the Republicans really believe that they have something they can attack on. They fucked up. Politically, they fucked up. Democrats are hot on this. Democrats are going to blaze through these hearings. It's going to be great. Keep watching, folks. It is happening. Amy Manuel, thank you for always being here, Amy. In the language of my generation, it's Alan Alda versus Hulk Hogan. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good comparison. I'm actually old enough to understand that. I hear you. A lot of people are there. Thank you, Lori, for always being here to support the show. I'm very grateful. All right, there's something really interesting going on. I want to put a pin in all that. We'll come back to it later. There's something really interesting going on. Do you know why you people are so sweet? Really, I'm not kissing your ass. You know why you people are so sweet? Because you're walking sugar factories. No, that's not a cutie thing. Ask any of the people that work in there are very educated people in the medical field in our audience right now. That is an accurate statement. You are very sweet because you are a walking sugar factory. And that has led to a new disease. Mammals in general are walking sugar factories. We are. I believe actually all species use sugar for energy, but I could be wrong on that. I've got some self-education to do. Some of you people that are so smart, do all species use sugar as energy, or is it mainly just mammals? One of you people hit that. I got something to learn here. But this is really freaking fascinating. There is your body, you eat things, right? And your body uses it for building blocks, proteins, and I mean, just I don't want to go through an entire gastrointestinal thing here. One of the things it does is it takes the things you eat and it makes sugar, and those sugars are what you use to power your body, and you store that sugar in your cells, and that's why some people have diabetes. And again, not going down that road. That's not what we're talking about. There's a sugar called galactose alpha 1. that is produced by just about every mammal on the planet, with two notable exceptions. Primates and humans do not produce this. We don't. Of all the sugar you make that makes you so sweet, you don't make those. So this is happening. No kidding. No kidding. This is really, really happening. The CDC believes that there's approximately 450,000 cases of alpha gal syndrome, and it's increasing out there. It is a red meat allergy that's caused by tick bites. And global warming has kind of changed things up. There's a tick here in the down south called the Lone Star tick. And no, don't blame Texas for this. It's not named Lone Star for Texas. It's named the Lone Star tick because it has what looks like a star on its back. You can't blame us this time. This isn't us. This isn't us. It's not the only tick that'll spread this, but what it is these ticks feed on deer. They feed on animals that are red meat, right? And this is global, folks. This is in Africa. This is in Australia. This is in South and Central America. This is in Europe. This is everywhere. Ticks feed on mammals. There's a species of tick that will spread this. And this is what it is, folks. For those people that you know that are anti-vaxxers, okay, this destroys their whole argument. This is Mother Nature's own vaccine that is turning people into involuntary vegetarians. Yeah, it is. It works exactly like a vaccine. Exactly like a vaccine. These Lone Star ticks will feed on a deer. We'll say a deer, but they'll feed on some mammal out there that's not a primate and not a human. Then they will bite you. And when they do, that alpha gal, that galactose alpha 1 sugar is in their saliva, and it enters your bloodstream. And once it enters your bloodstream, some of us, interesting point, interesting question. I'll get there. No, not from fish, and I'll explain why. Let me finish my explanation. You'll get it. Although I think galactose A1, alpha A1 may exist in fish, ticks tend not to feed on fish. So yeah, but no, they'll feed on a mammal with galactose alpha A1 in it, and it'll be in their saliva. Then they'll bite you, and it enters your bloodstream. Most of us, our bodies ignore it. They just ignore it. It's just another sugar. It gets disposed of. We can't use it. Just gets disposed of us. But some of us, our immune systems say, hey, that's a foreign invader. You're not supposed to be here. And it attacks it and destroys the galactose alpha 1. And our immune systems have a memory. They learn. So you've been eating who here, what is your favorite meat dish? I'm sorry to the vegetarians in the audience. I'm sorry to the vegans in the audience, but we're going to talk about, for me, it is smoked brisket and smoked ribs. Beef and pork, man. What is your favorite meat dish? Pot roast. There you go, Carla. Pot roast. There you go. Steak, pot roast. Carla coming in hot with the pot roast. Steak and salmon. Salmon is not really a red meat dish there, but I get what you're saying, Twyla. I get what you're saying. Steak, definitely. Bacon, and more bacon. You're screwed, dude, because pork pigs produce galactose alpha 1. So you've been bitten by this tick. You've been bitten by this tick. And my buddy who likes the bacon, his immune system reacted and it learned. And he's been eating bacon his whole damn life. Suddenly, after digging down on his big, giant, ultra bacon double cheeseburger, this shows up. Or this shows up. Or this shows up. Now, if you had something like that pop up out of the blue, you'd think what? Probably got bit by something, right? I mean, oh, got a rash. Maybe I got into some poison ivy, right? There's a million things you would think of besides bacon, right? Besides your good old cheeseburger, your steak. You wouldn't blame that, right? You just keep on keeping on. And it would happen again. And it would happen again. And it would happen again. And this is an allergy. Your body has developed an allergy to red meats. That means anything that comes from a cow, anything that comes from a pig, anything that comes from a sheep, anything that's red meat. Chicken, not so much. Chicken, not so much. But it takes a long time for people to figure out they have this. And the CDC has gotten really good at figuring out, okay, we can't just go by whoever shows up at the hospital and whoever's doctor reports this. We know for every person that's reported, there's X number of people that they don't go to the doctor for it. I just got rashes now. Or the doctor's misdiagnosed. They know that. The CDC is kind of in full freak out mode about this. And here's why. We've talked about this before. We have a system to produce food. We do. It's just a matter of logistics. We've got 330 million people in this country that have to eat every day. And every day we eat about 1 billion pounds of food. Every day. A huge portion of the logistics that feed these people is meat. Most of us aren't vegans. Most of us aren't vegetarians. We eat meat, primarily red meat, bacon. Yeah, they estimate that there's 450,000 people out there right now that now have this lifetime untreatable meat allergy. Remember, once your immune system learns, it can't be untaught. You will forever and ever, amen, react to galactose alpha 1 as though it is a foreign intruder into your body. Why are they freaking out about it? Because it's getting worse. Climate change, people. Climate change. It's just climate change. These ticks, Lone Star ticks, used to be down here in the South, Mississippi. It was a Mississippi issue. It was an Alabama issue. It was a Texas issue. It was a Louisiana issue. It was nothing. Nope. They're spreading farther and farther and farther and farther north and infecting more and more people farther north. And that is going, these are people that do this for a living. They don't wait for a problem to be a full-blown crisis before they start to act. They're sending the alarm bells out. People, if you get bit by a tick, look at it. Don't just yank it off. Don't just burn it with a lighter. Whatever you do, I don't recommend burning it with a lighter. Don't do. Take care of it like you would normally take care of it. But look at the damn tick. If it is a Lone Star tick, if it has a little star emblem on its back, watch. pay attention. If you suddenly start having inflammation issues, if you suddenly, every time you go out for a steak, next day you feel like hammered shit because your body is having an inflammatory reaction to its new allergy. And remember, this is a spectrum, people. Just like some people have intense allergies, some people don't have allergies at all. You know, I have allergies. Every time these goddamn cedar trees out here get frisky, I get screwed. I am every damn time the cedar pollen goes crazy. I'm miserable. Some people doesn't bother them at all. Same thing with alpha gal syndrome. Some people will just have looks like a bug bite. No big deal. Must have got bit by a spider. Doesn't bother them. Some people are covered in what looks like a rash, what looks like a. So yeah, people. So let's be careful. Let's be careful. Be mindful. Know what's going on. This is going to force a shift in our food chain. We need to be careful of this until they can figure out medically something to do. And I don't know. They don't think there's really anything they can do because they would have to suppress your own immune system. So yeah, the next time some idiot comes to you and says, "Oh, by the way, vaccines don't work." Oh, really? Look up alpha gal syndrome. Allison Kinsey, good morning, Texas Paul. The New York article with pictures inside Epstein's New York townhouse. Lots of high profile people. Crazy crap protecting rich pedophiles. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Moving on. This just happened, and I can't believe it. Florida put this warning out. Florida put this warning out. Stop drinking raw milk, people. Stop drinking raw milk. There is nothing physically beneficial about drinking raw milk. And no, it doesn't taste better. It doesn't. Unless you like large globs of fat dropping on your tongue. No, raw milk doesn't taste better. It doesn't. This latest outbreak of salmonella, yeah, it's 21 people. 7 of them were children, 6 hospitalized. 6 hospitalized, people. It's a big deal. Stop pushing this shit. Stop drinking raw milk. You know, the raw milk people have this conspiracy that, oh, it's not real. Raw milk will help you with your asthma. Bullshit. Bullshit. There's nothing in raw milk that will help you with your asthma. There are people all over, and God, this pisses me off so bad. Fucking Instagram at night is the worst. If you can't sleep at night, open up your Instagram. There are so many grifter fucking freaks out there selling bullshit health. Oh, you didn't know this magic shit here, or this thing that you eat every day, eating your whole goddamn strawberries. You've eaten strawberries your whole goddamn life, and then they're going to claim that there's worms this goddamn long in your strawberries that you never found before. Bullshit. They're grifters working off that fear, the same fear that drives Republicans to be bigots is the same fear that makes them fall for this bullshit shit that you see all night. This is one of the things that they take and they sell and pervert and lie. They just fucking lie about this. And the people that are afraid, that are kind of stupid to begin with, believe it. This happened, folks. Back in the 80s, this happened. And it was huge. It was huge. Randy Oliver, thank you for being here, my friend. Thank you. Don't leave. I've got an announcement for you, Randy. I do. Let them fuck around and find out. Thank you. No, thank you, brother. Thank you. You know what? Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. Folks, I've been taking in names. We were going to name our Democratic mascot. The number one name we received, we got tons of variants on the name Blue, but the number one we received was Blue Thunder. And the first one to send in Blue Thunder was Randy Oliver. So congratulate Randy. He is named our new mascot. I'm going to call him Blue for short, but his name is officially now Blue Thunder. There were so many great names that y'all sent in. So many honorable mentions. Surprisingly, Truman was popular. It was popular. But yeah, Blue Thunder, head and shoulders away. So many variations on Blue. But yeah, Blue Thunder was the one that absolutely most people sent in. And Randy Oliver was the first one. He was, so way to go, Randy. You win, brother. We're going to get in touch with you, and we're going to send you your own cup. And I appreciate you, Randy. Thank you. You have named him, brother. You have named him. But back to this conspiracy theory. All right. Back in 1985, there was a Hill Farms dairy factory produces 2% milk. Massive salmonella outbreak. Just massive salmonella outbreak at this factory. And they couldn't figure out why. They know they had 16,000 confirmed cases from this outbreak. They suspect it was closer to 200,000 people sickened. It was huge. So many people. You can buy Hill Farm milk, and I'm not afraid of it because believe me, you learn from shit. The Hill Farms learn from this. I promise you. See, this was the mid 80s, folks. This was the mid 80s. Back in the day, these facilities were not computer controlled. You literally had to have people that knew how to run these facilities that would go out and they would open valves and close valves, and they would monitor the pressure within certain tanks. That's how you could find out if a valve was leaking, is you monitored the pressure in the system from wherever that was fed to you from. If the valve was closed, but the pressure kept dropping, well, you had a leak somewhere. More often than not, that's how they found the leaks. It wasn't they found big puddles of chemicals on the ground. That's how they would find the leaks. These people were really good at keeping track of this shit, but it was far from perfect. It is not like today. Today, they're computer programmed, computer controlled. Michelle Hott, thank you for being here. Michelle, I almost called you Michael. Michelle Hott, thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. $50 is a lot of money. Super grateful. It's folks like you that help me keep the lights on. I really am grateful. That's a lot of money, and I know it. Thank you. But you imagine today, it's computer controlled and much easier to catch these leaks, because I want you to think about it for a second. You got a tank that feeds into another tank, right? There's a valve and a pressure gauge. Well, the pressure in this tank is going to naturally change by temperature. As much as you keep it refrigerated and try to keep it stable, well, you're going to add material to this tank, right? You're going to reduce the material. The pressure is naturally going to change. You would need somebody that would be so on the frickin' ball that they would know, hey, pressure's dropping in this tank and it shouldn't be. And they would have to catch it in between, product being added to the tank, product being taken out of the tank. You see it. You see now. Today it's all computer controlled, and we can tell the computers, hey, in these situations, send up an alarm bell and draw it to our attention. Not so much in the 80s. That required a person to catch it, and it took them a while. What happened was, in this 2% milk factory, somebody left the valve slightly open and was leaking raw milk into the finished product. But the raw milk people like to tell you, 2% milk caused the largest salmonella outbreak in American history, which to this day it still is the largest salmonella outbreak in American history. Yes, it came out of a 2% milk factory, but it wasn't the 2% milk. It was the fucking raw milk. that was leaking into the finished product. But they never mention that part because they don't care about reality. They made up their mind that they want to believe that there's a conspiracy theory. They've got broken minds. They're right wingers with broken minds, and they want to believe the conspiracy theory. They want to believe that raw milk is good. So we're going to ignore the fact that it was raw milk that caused the largest salmonella outbreak ever documented in American history. We're just going to ignore that, and we're going to claim it was pasteurized 2% milk. No, it wasn't. And that's the difference, folks. That's the difference between right wingers and left wingers. Left wingers will say, what? What? Why would it just be 2%? Why would it just, we would start asking questions, which would eventually lead us to the answer that, oh, fuck, it was raw milk. It wasn't, had nothing to do with pasteurization, had nothing to do with homogenization, had nothing to do with whatever. It was the fucking raw milk, the shit that the grifters on goddamn Instagram in the middle of the damn night are selling to everybody every damn day. Drink raw milk. It's good for your asthma. Bullshit. It is not. It is not. It is not. It just simply is not. I don't know what else to do with these people. I just don't. And it has led us to real problems. RFK is going to murder probably 1 million to 2 million people. And I thought about that word for a while. And that's the only word I can use. He's going to murder 1 million to 2 million people. And folks, it is a big deal. This is the important paragraph out of this article. They're going to pull $500 million out of vaccine development. Folks, these scientists don't do this because it's Tuesday and they're bored. They do this because we know zoonotic diseases will be our greatest challenges in the future. We know that most of them can be defeated by vaccines. We know RNA vaccines are super easy to manipulate and change and effective. We can sit there and we can catch when these damn diseases mutate, and we can adapt to it, but none of that shit is free. It all costs money. They got to eat. These people doing this for a living can have the most altruistic, wonderful motivations, and it could be their calling. It could be what is in their soul to do, to save people from dying unnecessarily from diseases. It could be their dream. And they would still have to have a place to live. They would still have to eat. They would still have electric bills. They would still need to commute to work. They would still need a vacation every once in a while. They would still have to make a living, folks. And RFK Jr. is putting them out of a job. And it's way worse than just that. I wish it was just that. It is not. It is actually way worse than that. ET, worm brain is getting rid of mRNA vaccines in favor of more simple vaccines. He's pandering to the base. Yeah, shit they've sold to stupids forever. And it is dangerous. It is dangerous. Mr. Knudsen in the house. Thank you for always being here, sir. Glad to see our Norwegian friends here. Get the beef barons on board. They will need an alpha gal vaccine. They will get behind vaccines to earn money. AFK will be banished. No, you can't. That's the problem with this disease. It's a great. I love where you're at, brother. I love where you're at, but there is no vaccine. Galactose alpha 1 is a natural sugar that these animals must have to live. We just don't produce it. So some of us, when a tick bites us, again, it's not a disease. There's no vaccine to stop it. It's what these animals are supposed to be producing. It's just when we're exposed to it, some of us, our immune systems treat it as a foreign entity that has to be destroyed, and it learns to recognize it. And every time it sees it, we have an inflammatory response. Our immune system goes nuts. That's what an allergy is. That really is. That's what an allergy is. And stop. I can hear the keys clicking. The medical professionals out there that are giving me the long, in-depth example of what an allergy is. I know that was a Cliff's Notes. Stop typing. I can hear the keys clicking. But yeah, that's pretty much what an allergy is. It's just your immune system responding to something that it ain't got to. That's why it's so annoying. Lady died 1245. SCOTUS may be considering whether gerrymandering majority minority congressional districts violate the 14th and 15th Amendment, which signals they may invalidate what's left of the Voting Rights Act. Yeah. I'm telling you, elections matter, people. Elections matter. They matter. There's no way around it. So many of us just coasted and relied on Democrats to do the right thing and didn't understand what would happen when the Democrats aren't in control. But yeah, it really is a big freaking deal what he's doing. And this is the important part of that article. This is to me, the most important, when you go to read that, to me, this is the most important paragraph out of that article. It's a big deal. To replace the troubled mRNA programs, which aren't troubled. They aren't troubled at all. There's just bullshit conspiracy theories. They told stupid people that don't understand science conspiracy theories, and because they're right wingers and their brains are fucked up because they're right wingers and they're programmed to have that overactive fight or flight instinct, we're told this is dangerous, so they're in a panic. There is no trouble with the mRNA programs. We're prioritizing the development of safer, broader vaccine strategies. Yeah, they're going to fuck up a really great vaccine system that the world turns to. We're actually a world leader in this. One of the things that America does best is development of vaccines, like whole virus vaccines. Oh my fucking God. Like whole virus vaccines and novel platforms that don't collapse when viruses mutate. mRNA vaccinations don't collapse when viruses mutate. They don't. We just tweak the vaccine to include the mutation. They're actually very flexible. They're very flexible. Everything about this is a fucking lie. But the worst part of it is the whole virus vaccines. Folks, there's a reason we do not inject when we create a vaccine, especially for viruses. We do not inject whole viruses into someone's body. This is going back to like the early 1800s when they used to, sick beds where they would expose people to diseases, and this is stupidity. This is literally backing us up 100, and they're going to take that $500 million that goes to, they're going to murder people, folks. They're going to murder people for their grift. There's no other way to put it. They're going to murder people for their grift. And because some people thought it was a good idea to take their very important little purist issue, we gave them all the power they needed to do it. Yeah, the times, they are a changing. They are a changing. They really are. And I got to tell you, this is one that was just. If you need an example of the difference between Democrats and Republicans, I give you the Protect the Pedophiles bill in Utah. Stuart Adams, he's the president of the Senate in Utah, championed this bill. It is now law. It is the new law. Utah Senate president prompted law change that helped a teen charged with child rape. Not just any teen, his family. It was a family member. It was a family member. 18-year-old kid raped a 13-year-old girl. 13. So what did they do? They changed the consent laws. Yeah. It's your Republicans for you. That's your Republicans for you. They changed the consent laws. Amy Emanuel, my cousin, calls RFK Jr. a liberal and the Republican a big tent party. Oh, my God. Check him for mercury poisoning and brain damage. ET, like giving people smallpox to try to prevent them from getting smallpox. Watch the John Adams miniseries for a visual representation of that. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going back to. It is. It's sick. It is sick. They're going to fucking murder people. Folks, in Utah, 17-year-olds who rape a 13-year-old because a 13-year-old can't give consent, it's rape, face a third-degree felony charge of unlawful sexual activity. It is not considered sexual violence for a 17-year-old to have sex with a 13-year-old. It is a third-degree felony. They don't have to register as sex offenders, none of that, right? That's the law as it was. They changed the law because at 18, it became a first-degree felony, and you had to register as a sex offender for raping a 13-year-old because you're a grown-ass adult at 18. We have to have a cutoff. There has to be an age limit. 18 was considered an adult. Well, Stuart Adams' 18-year-old relative raped a 13-year-old, so they changed the law and said, no. We're going to say 18-year-olds can fall under the old law as long as they're in high school. Yeah, as long as they're still in high school. Yeah, we're going to say we're going to protect the pedophiles, and we're going to say that it's just a third-degree felony, and my relative no longer is in danger of having to register as a sex offender for the rest of their life, which, by the way, his relative, after they passed this law, was offered a really sweet plea deal. That's right-wingers for you, folks. That's Republicans. Always working to protect the pedophiles. Always working. They finally agree to hearings on the Epstein files, and what do they want to do? They want to relitigate Russiagate. They want to deal with dear leaders' grievances and try to attack some Democrats instead of looking at the problem that we have, which is a bunch of billionaire fucking broligarchs that are raping kids. Folks, they didn't stop raping the kids because Epstein died. They didn't stop raping the kids because Epstein died. They're still doing it. And Republicans want to protect them. We're not the same. We are not the same. We are not the same people. Every Democrat I know doesn't give a damn who is in those files. Barack fucking Obama could be in those files, and every Democrat I know wants them called out and held to account. Every Democrat. Republicans can't wrap their head around this. They don't get it. They keep trying to throw Bill Clinton at us like that means something, because to them it does. To them it does. They support their cult leader and they want to say, well, we're both the same, both sidism, and that's bullshit. That is simply not the truth. Democrats, if Bill Clinton ran for office today, couldn't win a job as fucking dog catcher. Couldn't. He couldn't. Too many questions. And until we get answers to those questions, we can't elect you. Donald Trump could rape a kid on Fifth fucking Avenue and not lose a single goddamn vote on video in broad daylight. And not lose a single damn vote. Fucking Republican MAGA would vote for him in a heartbeat. As long as he told them they were better than us. They're the backbone of our country. You're the patriots. You are. They're gay. They're gay. I know you're gay too, but you don't talk about it. They're gay. I mean, like openly gay. These people are sick. They're sick. And you will never reach them. These people that run as Republican light are fucking stupid. You will never reach these people. Their culture is about being Republican. And no matter how disgraceful Republicans are, they can have a protect the pedos bill in fucking Utah, and those Republicans in Utah, those voters will still vote Republican. Because it was never about the children. It was never about the family values. They don't give a shit about their wives. They don't give a shit about their children. They don't care. The only thing they care about is that they have this ecosphere to tell them they're good people. Oh, you don't like black people? You're a bigot? Well, that's okay. That's because they're dangerous. Don't you know that? It's not you. It's them. Oh, you're upset because you can't use the N-word all the time? Well, yeah, that's just stupid. That's just stupid. You should be able to say it as much as you. It's just a word. It's just a word. They say this shit. They're the victims all the time. Why? Because their brains are broken. And we've got medical proof their brains are broken. The part of the brain that controls the fight or flight instinct is fucking huge in conservatives. And the more conservative they get, the more fucked up their brain is. How do you think they sell this Christian nationalism? Etu Brutus, back with some more support, sir. Thank you very much. No parents should ever promote pageants, cheerleading, or modeling as a career choices for their daughters. Institutional abuse awaits. Carl Rossi, RFK, Oz, shortcuts for Miller to get his 100 million census, GOP proclivities may be genetic. And I'll tell you another one, just off, take a left turn here, just to take a left turn here in the show that there wasn't actually part of the show, but it is actually relevant to what we're talking about with just the whole right wing, the way they act and the way they process things and the way they do. Republican strategists have figured out that they can take anything, no matter how bad it is, and they can accuse Democrats of that thing. And when it gets proven that Republicans are that thing, it has no effect. Because, oh, it's just Democrats repeating what we said. When we really know. It is a political strategy, folks. And I'll give you an example. There's this push, and you haven't heard much about it because it's fucking stupid. It wouldn't go anywhere in the left-wing sphere because we demand proof. We demand answers. In the right, there is a gigantic conspiracy that Joe Biden wasn't president. He wasn't president. That he was mentally a vegetable, and that the government was being run by a shadow government, and they're going to get to the bottom of who was making all these decisions, because none of what Democrats did is legal because Joe Biden was incompetent, and it wasn't really Joe Biden that was president. And since he wasn't president, everything he signed is illegal. No shit. That is really, really a thing on the right wing. And it's huge, not just a little thing. It's fucking huge, man. You may hear people on the left every once in a while mention the autopin stupidity. That's the root of that. That's the root of that. Dying Bree Garage. Hey, Paul, just a heads up. There's an active shooter in Fort Stewart, Georgia going on right now. Man, I love that you people are so on top. Yeah. So on top of what's going on. I'm doing the show. You people are on top of the breaking news. Leonard Campbell here says top DOJ to meet at JD Vance's house to discuss strategy on Epstein files today. Yep. Keep us informed, brother. Keep us what you find out about that on what's going on in Fort Stewart. Autopin, yeah. Now, the reason they're doing this, the reason Republicans are making a big deal about this, Trump, okay, he started out lazy. He started out stupid. He started out unable to focus. I mean, you've seen it before. Back in 2016, they would have to create his briefings and write Trump in big letters in just about everything they talked to him about, to try to come up with some angle as to why it was important for him and him alone, or they couldn't keep his attention on critical world events. That was years ago. He is gone now. He didn't get better with age. He has pudding for fucking brains, and they know it. And it's really obvious when you see all of these blowups, all of these things that happen, that Trump has no fucking clue what's going on. But they give him some talking points and trot him out and say, okay, this is our reaction to it. You go say these things. And he stands in front of a camera. And the moment he has to answer questions, he can't, because he really doesn't know what's going on. His mind has devolved into fucking pudding. He can't answer. He starts talking about Obama or Hillary Clinton or, you know what I mean? He runs home to old talking points that he's repeated so many times that his mush brain can actually, answer them. So yeah, that's another case of their accusations are a confession. Trump is fucking addled. So let's accuse Biden of that so that when it hits our base, it has no effect. It has no effect. They can just say, oh, that's not true. They're just trying to protect Biden because Biden was the one that was really, and it works, folks. It really works. Guido D Day. Have Republican family members and friends that have the red or dead voting philosophy, even thought they don't like Trump Epstein connection, even though they don't like the Trump Epstein connection. Whew. Had a hard time reading that one. I don't know why, but I did. Yeah, they'll shrug it off. They will. They'll shrug it off. Pedophilia is not a deal breaker for a Republican. Not at all. On Ledger. Good day to you, my friend. Thank you for always being here. You're huge support. Never, and I want to say this, folks, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Some of you folks are so damn generous. You really are. John, I appreciate it, but don't you ever hurt yourself. Don't you ever hurt yourself. If you don't have, you know, folks, your comments are enough. Your being here is enough. I am super grateful for the support. But you asked Mrs. Texas Paul, I stay up at night. Every once in a while, I've got a PayPal and I've got things like people. I've got a couple people that support the show at a pretty high level. I do. And I've got people that support the show consistently. I've got a dear sweet man in Buffalo. He's a wonderful person who writes me a letter and sends me a $10 check every month. I mean, but I lose sleep at night worrying. I couldn't live with any of you ever hurting yourself to support the show. We'll find a way. I am grateful, grateful, grateful for your generosity, but please promise me nobody ever hurt yourself over supporting this show. Ever. Canadian Paul, the way it's going, they'll present Ghislaine as a victim. They already are. They already are. They are. No shit. On the right wing, they're already trying to spin that she was screwed at trial, that it was a Democratic cabal that made it up. No shit. They are. Check with some of the people in the audience that are in touch with the right wingers and they're hearing from the right wing members of the family. They're already defending Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, their right wing outlets have been floating that balloon. They really, really are defending Ghislaine Maxwell. They really are. And the other thing that they're spinning, get this. Remember, I was screaming, I want to know what the deal was, Todd. You met with Ghislaine Maxwell, and then all of a sudden she's just moved to a club fed that she's not entitled to be in. Why the fuck are you doing that? You know what they're spinning on the right? Oh, she was in danger because she's such a good person and was willing to testify that they called her a snitch and that she was in danger. Bullshit. But they're really telling their people that. They really are telling their people that. And that the Bureau of Prisons, they had to protect her. Protect her? You moved her to a club fed where she has no protection? And the same problem, if that was really, really a problem? They are desperate to try to get out from underneath this Epstein shit. They are. And they're spinning every which way they can. And they're throwing so much fucking mud at their people. I told you. They're broken, bad people. Pedophilia is not a deal breaker for a right winger. It's not. They're getting their excuse. They're getting their excuse to say it's okay. And they're running with it, folks. They are. We're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a little bit. But before we do, this happened. Washington Post, U.S. Visa bonds would charge some foreign travelers $15,000 deposits. A one-year program registered by the State Department will initially require money from Malawian and Zambian travelers, and it will not end there. It will be brown people, period. Let me ask you something. In a nation of 330 million people, see, this is what they're claiming the problem is and why they have to do this. Why they have to be allowed to charge brown people, it's always going to be brown people, a bond for entering our country. And they're saying that they have to do it because people will come on a tourist visa and then they'll overstay. Which, in all fairness, that's really a thing. That really is a thing. You'll get people that have family here. There are communities throughout our country, that have where these people have family members, and other parts of the country, family members will come visit. Sometimes they'll overstay a week. Sometimes they'll overstay 2 weeks. Sometimes they'll overstay a few months, and then go home. Sometimes they never go home. They just decide, I want to live with my family. And then they try to start the immigration process. How many people do you think, and I mean, I'm talking about everything from they overstayed a day, they overstayed a week, they overstayed 2 weeks and went home, all the way into they just stayed and tried to start the immigration process here to stay. How many people do you think we're talking about did this? What is the scale of the problem that they now have to start charging brown people bonds to enter our country? Omniscient Sphinx. In a country of 330 million people, how many people do you think triggered this policy? Omniscient, and this will tell you why it's bullshit, by the way. What up, Paul? My father will go out on about the same because they own those same groups and are drinking the Kool-Aid because and are watching you and the Midas touch. You are watching us in the Midas touch because he knows more from being in the Navy. Yeah, they always feel like I get what you're trying to say there. A little difficult to read, but I understand exactly what you're saying there. They really are arrogant in the extreme. They know best. They do. That fear is real in them, 100% real in them, and they 100% believe it, man. They believe it in their core. They have to. It is a survival thing with them. To them, it has to be complete reality because their survival in their mind weighs on it. Richard Lawton, so wrong that folks that voted in Trump show no shame about it. How do they sleep at night? We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. We're going to wrap the show up with a good discussion about how do we win? I'll tell you how we win. Mark Sarkoutis. Did I pronounce that correctly? It looks like Sarkoutis to me. Cool name, by the way. Don't think this went out when I tried it just a few minutes ago. Thanks for all you do. No, thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. K-Dub Kelly, thank you for being here. Have you considered setting up memberships here? Sorry if I missed it. I have. A lot of people have asked for them. And again, email me this and tell me what you think. To me, the memberships kind of feel like gatekeeping. It does. Because there's a lot of people in our community that are just on fixed incomes or just don't want to contribute. And to me, the memberships, which cause everybody in chat that's a member to have a different color script, it kind of creates an other situation. The way I kind of feel about it is if you like what I'm doing, if you find it useful and you want to support the show, there's always the super stickers. There's always that support. There's PayPal. There's a million ways to support the show. There really is. But memberships to me, I don't know. It kind of seems like gatekeeping. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe it wouldn't bother people. I don't know. Let me know. Email me about this. realtexaspaul.com. My email address is there. Let me know what you think. I've thought about it. I've really agonized over the memberships thing. But anyway, I want to get back to what we're talking about. How many people did y'all come up with? I didn't see the numbers. How many people think overstayed their visa? Malawians and Zambians overstayed their visa so that they have to come up with this whole new bill the bigots, or bill the bigots bill the brown people so that they can actually enter our country, whereas people, white people don't. There is. There is. 1 second. I'll get it for you. One second. That's important enough. I will stop the entire show for it. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting here. Damn it. Kendall Scudder just sent it to me the other day. He was talking about it the other day. 1 second. It is different from their Act Blue. From the original. Yeah, there you go. Democrats.org. Democrats.org. It will take you to their Act Blue site, but it is a different system set up so that you can help these people. What he's talking about is the Texas Democrats, they make $7,000 a year. They have to work another job. When they left the state, they left their job. They've got hotel expenses. They got everything. This ain't free. It ain't free. Everything costs money. So they set up Democrats.org if you want to help out the Texas Democrats that are fighting this redistricting bullshit. Democrats.org. Really easy. Deborah Ann, actually, mRNA vaccines are safer and more effective. Yeah, they are. 100%. You're 100% right. Folks, it was 600 people out of 330 million people in this country. 600 people overstayed their visa from Zambia and Malawi. And I don't mean all of them tried to stay and immigrate. Some of them just stayed a day longer. Some of them just stayed a week longer. Chase Tauscher, thank you for support, man. I appreciate you, brother. Just stayed a week longer. Some of them stayed a month longer. Some of them actually tried to immigrate afterwards. So now they're going to charge $15,000 bonds to brown people. And it is not going to end with Zambia and Malawi. I promise you. Once this gets established, once they get it in, they will quietly just add countries to the list. It will never make the news. And it will be, people one day will try to come visit their family and it'll be, oh, by the way, you have to post a bond. For some couples, up, and it's a different rate. Some couples, it's $10,000 a piece. For individuals, it's $15,000. For each child that you try to bring with you on your vacation to visit your family, it's going to be $5,000 per child. It's really freaking insane what they're doing, and that just right under the radar, man. Right under. There were 2 corporate news outlets that touched on this, and I promise you, it will not end with Zambia and Malawi. There were so few people from Zambia and Malawi that were, first of all, just coming to visit. Period. There, small amount of people. I mean, we get more people from France, more people from Ireland. There are people from France that do this all the time. There are. I happen to know a really good guy that came here from Ireland and never left. He's a citizen now. He is a U.S. citizen now. But that's how he got here. He came on a tourist visa, liked it so much, he went home, wrapped up his business in Ireland, got another tourist visa, came back and stayed. But, he's white. Glenn Kaneko, enjoy your show, but I'll get the rest later because I've got an errand to run. Well, I'm glad you're here, brother. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for always. Kay Kennedy, Mr. and Mrs. Texas Paul, thank you for all you do. No bullshit slinging here. No, we keep it real, man. I always bring up the article so you can read it for yourselves. Pinky Parker, thank you for being here. Thank you. That's why I do that, right? I can simply talk about this stuff and you could just take my word for it. Or I can show you sources, get you started on your own where you can verify what I'm saying. Jordan, Trump and little Marco shut down the United States tourism, down 30 billion. Yeah, folks, I'm telling you. And Vegas is a ghost town. They're down like 20%. They really are. They are hurting. They are really hurting. And most of it is that really high-end international travel. Because if you got money to come from Europe to Vegas, you got money, baby. Most people coming from Europe are coming to visit family and stuff like that. If you're just going to Vegas, that's somebody, and that's where they're really getting hurt. Catherine Ryan, I'm heading to Scotland tomorrow for 2 weeks and I plan on telling everyone who wants to understand the real political situation in America to listen to Texas Paul. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's one of the reasons we do this. Grow this audience, baby. Grow it. This information needs to get out to everyone. Let me wrap that up. Do you know what the bad side, the real downside to this is? Although there's so much that's horrible with it. But the thing, because they're so fucking stupid, they don't understand it ain't always about us. Americans can't do whatever the fuck Americans want to do. And there's no reaction. Anytime this has been tried, the country we do it to puts a reciprocal bond on us. So now, if you're Zambian or from Malawi, or you just want to take an African safari, or what, you will have to post that same bond to travel. But they never think this true. Never. Do you know how many people use tourist visas for business? They don't go through all the trouble of declarations and stuff. They just use a tourist visa because, hey, my company's there. I'm only going to be there for 2 weeks. I'll get a tourist visa. It's so easy and quick. I can do it online. That will be over. Done. Helen P., thank you. I appreciate you for the support. I really do. But yeah, that's not the end of it. You're welcome, Sharon Novak. Sharon Novak says, thank you for always informing us. Thank you, and thank you for supporting the show. It's how we keep the lights on here. This has happened. I've been telling you, watch the economy. Watch for the red flags. Don't listen to the bullshit. Don't listen to what people are saying. Look at what's happening. Look at what's going on in the ports. What is the traffic in the ports? What's going on with the shipping? What's going on with jobs? Are people hiring people? Because if the economy is good, they'll need more employees. No, they're not hiring people. Jobs suck. And unemployment numbers are up. Inflation is going up. Their economic activity is stagnating. How bad is it going to be? Is a great question to ask at that time. How bad is it going to be? This little chart right here, which you can look up yourself. You see, it's the chart is from Lance Leber, source Redfin analysis published. You can look it up yourself or just take my word for it. Estimated number of US home buyers and sellers actively in the housing market. It is the ratio, the blue being sellers, the gold being buyers. Remember the exploding house prices? There were so many more buyers. This was COVID. This big dip was COVID. There were so many buyers. Prices skyrocketed. Well, now we're inversed. There are 500,000 more sellers on the market than there are buyers. There's roughly 2 million sellers and roughly 1.4 to 1.5 million buyers on the market. What do you think happens to home prices? Folks, if this doesn't put a chill in your spine, you are not old enough to live through what happened in 2007 and 2008. You want to know what's significant about this? Even in the crash of 2007 and 2008, it could not compare to this. There has never been a moment in our history ever where the disparity between the number of sellers and the number of buyers was so high. Ever. This is a first. And you see that buyer's number? It's plummeting. It is plummeting. Folks, this is the reddest of red flags. This is the reddest of red flags. Chase Tauscher, Constitute website has removed section 9 and 10 from the article 1. Wow. I hadn't heard that. The Constitution website removed article 9 and 10. That is something. I'll have to check into that. I will have to check into that. Can you email me a link on that, please? Go to realtexaspaul.com. My email is there. You can email me a link on that. I would love to know more about that. That is huge. That is huge. Mr. Knutson, containers coming into the USA since March is down 28% compared to last year. Trump import tax effect. Yeah. But folks, this isn't just an indicator of the economy. This isn't. This gap right here, again, let me say it again. That is the worst it's ever been in our entire history. Ever. And you saw what happened in 2007 and 2008. That is not an indicator of just the economy. That is an indicator of what the damage will be when this bomb goes off. Remember, the tariffs, unless he tacos out again, the tariffs are supposed to go into effect tomorrow. August 7th. Unless he tacos out again, the tariffs go into effect tomorrow, and he doesn't believe the bad economic data he's getting. You know, we talked about him firing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics on Sunday. We talked about that. The reporting coming out of people that have access to the inner circle in the White House is that he sincerely believes that just because he believes it, without any evidence, that these job numbers and all of this bad economic data is just wrong. Folks, this is going to be a massive train wreck. This is going to be a massive train wreck, not just to the U.S. economy, but to the world economy. Silly Bebo, Brittany, thank you for being here all the time. Thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it. A self-inflicted depression. Yes. Yes. All he had to do was go fucking golfing. Leave everything Biden had in place and just go fucking golfing. And the economy would have been fine. Inflation was already coming down. We had the best economy in the world. Everything was moving in the right direction. All these stupid fuckers had to do was nothing. But they couldn't because they're so smart. Amy Manuel, please check the breathtaking news about Texas Dems in Chicago. Uh-oh, we got something new going on? Something happened during the show? Let's do it. I trust you. Oh, fuck. Yeah, this is what Republicans are, people. This is what they are. I'll pull it up on a couple different news sites so that you know. Yeah, some Republican called in a bomb threat to the hotel the Democrats were staying in. Forced the evacuation of the hotel. Terrorists, that's what Republicans are. That's what they are. That is what they are. That is a crime, folks. That is a fucking felony. And I hope J.B. Pritzker hangs your ass for it. Multiple news sources. I'll bring up two so that you can. That was a local news source. This is from CBS News, one of the national news sources. Bomb threat prompts evacuation at Chicago hotel where some Texas Democrats are staying. This is a good segue, a good time to tell you that we've got a great guest coming up on Friday. One second. Somebody's probably texting me about this right now. I do apologize for holding things up. But yeah, we've got Julie Johnson. She's one of the Democrats up there in Chicago right now. We'll be on the show Friday. We're going to sit down Friday morning and talk to her, talk about what's next, talk about how Democrats keep fighting. So be here. You're going to want to be here for Friday's show. So let's talk about it, folks. Let's talk about how do we win? What do we do? Well, to understand that, folks got to understand a few things about politics. I mean, if you don't understand what the problem is or what you're fighting, how can you fight it? How can you come up with a strategy? So let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, let's talk about the difference between Republicans and Democrats, because these things are not the same. And I don't just mean Democrats are better people. I don't mean that. I mean, literally, these two parties couldn't be more different. Republicans are at their core bigot, goose-stepping, Nazi. They're a monolith. From their disgusting voters at the bottom that will brush off pedophilia. Bigotry is not a deal breaker for them, because they believe in their heart of hearts that brown people are dangerous. They believe that brown people are the problem, that if it wasn't for brown people, everything would be just fucking Valhalla in this country. They believe that shit. They think their very survival relies on it. That's their base. That's what this monolith on the right is based on. And it is the same all the way up. The broligarchs that fund this shit, they're bigots. They are. They have no problems paying for this bigoted bullshit because they believe it themselves. There's a reason that what is floated to the top of the Broligarch shit pile is a bunch of South African shit gibbons. Apartheid loving fucking South Africans. There's a reason. It's who they are. And you have to understand this. All the way up from the shitty ass voters through the oligarchs, through the shitty politicians that will do anything to keep their private club memberships paid for. They don't give a shit about you or what you're doing. They don't. All the way up to Susan Collins's furrowed brow and Lisa Murkowski's concerns. It's a monolith. It is a monolith. There's no division in them at all. The only division that ever occurs never threatens them, because the only division that ever occurs among them is we need to be being bigger dicks than we already are. That is your Republican Party, folks. So they don't face any of the challenges that we Democrats do, because Democrats are a coalition. We're an armada, for the lack of a better way to put it. We're an armada. We are a bunch of ships that have the same basic core values, that we all do better when we all do better. There's nothing in us. We don't hate gay people. We don't hate trans people. In fact, when something comes up, we learn about these people. We learn about who they are and why they're just us. They're just us. We're very different. But some of those ships have opposing interests. Some of those ships have their own personal agendas. Of course they do. Of course they do. The problem that Democrats face, the number one problem Democrats face, is holding that coalition together. Republicans don't have that problem. The corporate media likes to call it throwing red meat to the base. Really what it is, all you got to do is say something bigoted and confirm their fears and tell them they're great people. And you got them. They're done. That coalition, it's not a coalition. It's a monolith. Will never crack. It's who they are. Us, on the other hand, way too full of people that say, my one issue, I'm sorry, I agree with you about 90% of the shit out there. But my little 10%, well, I've got to go off until this whole coalition comes with me. Well, the problem is sometimes in that coalition, there are opposing interests. We're a big tent, people. I talked about Shannon Watts before. I love her. I do. We disagree on one major issue. She's fucking great, man. She really is. We'll fight that out. We'll fight that. We will fight that out. We will. But neither one of us are going to burn the party down. Neither one of us are saying, hey, I'm taking all my ships and everybody that agrees with me away until you do what I want. We do have that problem in here. And the Republicans know it. The Republicans know that about us. They know that about us way better than we know that about ourselves. Then you factor in what I've already talked about. If you folks are here, you are head and shoulders above other people. You are incredibly informed. You look at the big picture. You look at the background. You want to know. You don't just take what I say. I get the emails all the time about how I didn't fully explain something, or I missed a point on something, or just got something wrong. You people will call me out, man. I have to issue corrections to keep my audience because you people care. That's not Republicans. They don't care. They don't care. We're getting there. Stick with it. Skeet's there. We're getting there. Before people set their hair on fire, I want to read before, because we're going to use a couple different things. I talked about the gun control thing and how I disagree with some people, but we don't cancel each other. We don't. I'm going to talk about the horrific thing that's going on in Gaza. And that's going to be, you've got Jewish folks, which are not monolithic in any way, and Palestinian folks, which are not monolithic in any way. All right. What I believe, so that I don't lose you now, is really simple. Israel's our ally. They have been. They always have been. Netanyahu's a war criminal. We need to help those people on the left that are good and decent people in Israel fucking prosecute Benjamin Netanyahu, because what they're doing is a goddamn war crime. They are starving people to death. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. This is not two equal forces. This is not World War II, where two equal forces are fighting it out and the people caught in the middle are facing famine. No, this is one force fucking dominates the other one, and they're just fucking starving these people to fucking death. That is a war crime. Period. But there are good and decent people over here that are screaming about it. Blue Lady, I threw out your "we all do better" quote at our last Dining with Dim and Dim's meeting. I hope you'll be getting some new listeners. I'm working on it. I'm growing it. Thank you for being here. Let me stop you right there and make that point. Let me stop you right there and make that point. I have a video for you that I want you to pay attention to. And it just goes to show that neither side is a monolith. Neither side in that situation is a monolith. I want you to see this. This is critically important. This is a video that's being shared. It is being highly attacked by the pro-Netanyahu people. I'm going to play it for you twice. The first time I want to call out, I want you to see who these people are. This is shared all over social media. I got it from someone named Jen, is the example where I get it. I don't know much about Jen, so I'm not going to recommend a follow there. But, if you want to give her an attaboy, whatever, that's great. 3 chiefs of staff, 4 former Shin Bet directors, 3 former Mossad chiefs, 5 former police commissioners, and 4 former heads of military intelligence in an unprecedented joint statement. In the war in Gaza, bring the hostages home all at once. I want you to listen to what these people say so that you can understand not everybody in Israel is a monolith. And if you're anti-Israel, don't leave yet. You're going to want to hear the rest of this. Not just this, the rest of it.
הרוב המכריע של רמטכ"לים, ראשי שירות, ראשי מוסד, מפכ"לים וראשי אמ"ן, כאן.
כל האנשים כאן היו בקבינטים, היו במטבחונים, בכל תהליכי קבלת החלטות הכי רגישים.
יותר מ1,000 שנים של ניסיון ביטחוני, מדיני, נתן לנו את החובה לקום ולומר את מה שיש לנו לומר.
אנחנו נמצאים ערב תבוסה.
המלחמה הזאת התחילה כמלחמה.
You're seeing people, they're former heads of Shin Bet. That is the kind of like the closest thing I can tell you is the difference between the head of the FBI versus the head of the CIA. Shin Bet is the internal security for Israel, whereas the Mossad is their intelligence gathering organization.
צודקת, הייתה מלחמת הגנה, אבל כשהשגנו את כל היעדים הצבאיים, כשהשגנו ניצחון צבאי מזהיר נגד כל אויבינו, המלחמה הזאת הפסיקה להיות מלחמה צודקת, והיא מביאה את מדינת ישראל לאובדן ביטחונה וזהותה.
אנחנו נמצאים שנה והרבה פלוס, מעבר לנקודה שבה היינו יכולים לסיים עם הישג מספיק מבצעי.
ואנחנו כרגע בעיקר מקזזים הפסדים.
אנחנו קברנו את ההישגים האלה.
לא מכיר צבא שניצח גרילה. אנחנו כרגע נמצאים במצב סטטי ברצועת עזה. צבא שלא נמצא בתנועה הוא צבא שנפגע.
לא חשוב כמה צבא יהיה טוב. מלחמה ללא מטרה מדינית גוזרת תבוסה.
המלחמה היום היא מלחמת שולל.
מבצע מרכבות גדעון לא קידם כמעט כלום.
שילמנו מחירים בנפגעים, הרוגים, יותר מדי. ההישגים שלנו שם די מוגבלים. הנזקים הבינלאומיים הם כבדים. ולא קידמנו כרגע שום דבר בנושא.
All right, that's enough. I'm not going to play it twice. I don't need to, but you get the idea. These are very important men that held very important positions. These were heads of Mossad. These were heads of Shin Bet. These are people that they carry weight in Israel, and they're all saying the same thing. This is fucking out of hand. This is wrong. Folks, there are people rioting in Tel Aviv right now to stop the war in Gaza, and they're not Arabs, they're Israelis. So, no, my position hasn't changed. I will not throw Israel to the wolves. I will not die. They have been my ally forever. I'm not going to turn my back on my ally. I will do everything I can to bring down Netanyahu. I believe he's a war criminal. I think he's destroying Israel. But that is the Israeli side of it. Now let's reach over here and talk about the Palestinian side of it. And it's important that you understand this, folks. The people that you just saw said, look, we had to respond to October 7th. We have to work to get our hostages back. But this is too fucking much. It is. Now on the other side of it, for some reason, it's really easy for the folks over here to recognize that you cannot call all Palestinians Hamas, but they're really comfortable with calling all Israelis Netanyahu. I will not do that. My position, now that I've laid out my position on Israel, they are our allies. I will never betray them. They are our allies. I will support any arms to defend themselves, but I will do what Joe Biden did, which is to say, no more dumb bombs for you, no more of this. This is not happening anymore. Joe Biden was attacked by Republicans, and I call them the fake left, because he withheld arms from Israel. He said, no more artillery shells, no more dumb bombs. He is the first president ever to put pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu, and that pressure was both public and private and increasing. Had we elected Kamala Harris, what is going on in Gaza would not be happening today. This was the Democratic position, was to withhold arms, withhold support, whatever it takes to ratchet up pressure to get Netanyahu out of office. Netanyahu's Russian allies, Putin, ran misinformation campaigns, and they turned this, which was a step in the right direction, into, well, you're funding Israel, so you're sending them weapons to do that. Therefore, Joe is responsible for Gaza, which is bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. Why did Joe Biden do it the way he did? The coalition. The coalition. We must maintain this coalition or we lose. We lose. And if he cuts off, if Democrats cut off all support for Israel, we lose. Because there are just as many people that will leave our coalition if we do that, as people threatening to leave the coalition if we don't. So they cut off the sale of dumb bombs and artillery, and they were doing everything they can to remove Netanyahu. But Russia and Israel, under the control of Netanyahu, spread misinformation and made it about the Democrats. You have people that are actually out there, I call them the fake left, that are saying, might as well be Democrats in Gaza doing this. And it's bullshit. And it is bullshit. And their new catchphrase is AIPAC. AIPAC. These people can't even tell you what AIPAC stands for. They can't even tell you what it actually stands for. They think the PAC and AIPAC is Political Action Committee. It is not. It is the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee. And the new thing with the fake left is if you took money from AIPAC as a Democrat, you're now unclean and must be canceled. You're bombing Gaza. They really equate Hakeem Jeffries, the first African American who will be the Speaker of the House. They're equating that with Hakeem Jeffries is Netanyahu because he took money from AIPAC. Well, let me ask you something. Is your plan about AIPAC to only have AIPAC fund Republicans? Because if we follow your purity test and Democrats don't take AIPAC money, that means all of it goes to Republicans. Fuck you too. Yes, you are out. Did it myself. That user is banned from the channel forever. I was very happy to do that. Thank you. Do you get my point? I understand you people don't like people taking money from AIPAC, but do you want all of that money going to Trump and the Republicans? That's stupid. That is dumb. That is dumb as dog shit. Because while they took that AIPAC money, it was Democrats that cut off the artillery shells. It was Democrats that cut off the bombs. It was Democrats that were pressuring Netanyahu. And I've got this dumb fuck who doesn't even know what a Zionist is. He doesn't know what the word means. He thinks it's an insult. He has no clue, that is now banned from the channel. Now we're going to get to the Palestinian side. For 40 years, I have supported a homeland for the Palestinian people. They deserve the dignity of self-determination. They deserve their own country to call their own in safety. They deserve, in peace, to be our allies if they live in peace, similar to what we should be doing in Syria with al-Shara. Al-Shara is trying to live in peace. We should make him an ally and help him with that. That's what we should be doing in Gaza. You know, Uncle Mark, I like you, man, but you say stuff like this and you don't even understand. There's no fucking such thing as a two-state solution. There is no such thing as a two-state solution. Because nothing gets done if you don't include Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel. At very least, those four are, and you're probably going to need on top of that Syria, because of where the Palestinians are now. What the fuck is a two-state solution? It can't be. And people say this and don't understand the complexity of the situation. And don't pay a fuck all bit of attention to what Hakeem Jeffries is doing or what his job is. And then they bitch about Hakeem Jeffries. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You know what, dude? Get the fuck out. I'm tired of this. You're banned. I don't care how long you've been here. I don't care. I'm not doing stupid anymore. You want to win. This is how we do it. I have supported the Palestinians. I continue to support the Palestinians. I think the Abu Samra family, supporting them in their leadership in Gaza would be the way to go. We do. But unfortunately, we can't because we fucked up in the last election and we listened to stupid fucking people that said, oh, Punish the Democrats because they won't sail with our few ships, and the entire coalition must be destroyed because the whole coalition won't turn where I want them to, when I want them to, how I want them to. The Republicans know this, and the Republicans foment this. They do. They know this very, very keenly. They're aware in these divisions, and they pay the trolls to dig into the cracks. Let me give you another example. I support Zoran Mamdani in New York. Always have. Oregon Wine Lady, thank you for being here. My wife, Paul, my niece just texted me about the Section 9 and 10 shenanigans, but removing it from a website doesn't make it law. True. Thank you. We'll talk about this more on Friday. We will. We'll talk about this more on Friday. They think that they've got this thing with AIPAC. If you took money from AIPAC, oh, you're Israel, you're bad. It's fucking stupid. But this is how well the folks on the right know our divisions. This is what they send me. They're bots. They're easily spotted as bots, but they're trying to dig their fingers into cracks and pull us apart. I get this at least 4 to 5 times a day. They say, but Texas Paul, you're a Democrat. You're angry at the people that didn't show up. You're angry at the people that said don't vote. How can you support Zoran Mamdani? He was one of them. And he was. He very publicly did the whole leave it blank thing and told people to stay home. He did. How can I support him? It's really fucking simple. Pay attention to what I say here. Why I support Zoran Mamdani for mayor of New York, even though he did do this stupid shit. John Didier, enjoy Rivers of Black Ink, vote Democrat. Amen, brother. The economies do well under Democrats, period. Why do I support Zoran Mamdani, even though he did this one stupid fucking thing that was an emotional reaction that several stupid fucking people did? Really simple. He is the Democratic candidate for the mayor of New York. And I agree with 95% of his policies, 90 to 95% of his policies. He is much better than the alternatives. Much better than the alternatives. Even though I only agree with about 90 to 95% of his policies and don't agree with a few of the things that he wants to do, the majority of what he wants to do is fucking great. And it's focused on the people. But he did this one fucking stupid thing. So I'm supposed to cancel him? No. This is what I'm going to do because I want to win. Zoran Mamdani excites people. He brings energy with him. His policies are actually pretty good. E.T., the Mad King now wants teens and ice. Will this be the new H-Man? YouTube won't let me say his name. He's talking about the Hitler Youth and the HJ. I can say it. Probably they're trying to mimic everything that the Nazis did. Keep an eye out for it. It's the fight that we have and why it's so important we keep this coalition together. But I want to go back to talking about why I support Zoran Mamdani. I support 95% of his policies. The few I disagree with, he's probably not going to get passed anyways because he has to govern after he gets in office. He can say anything he wants prior to the election, but he's not going to get everything done. No politician does. He's going to try his best. And I'm going to do the best I can to help him with his good policies. Because he's a Democrat. and he cares about the people. He has democratic, we share values. We do. The right are sending trolls into our armada, fake ships into our armada, to claim that he's an anti-Semite, that he hates Jews, and he this on all these narratives, and that he betrayed us Democrats and all this other shit. That all comes from the fake left and the right and their bots. And these people, I want to show you these people. Dying Breed Garage. Plus, he will get some people to vote Democrat that didn't vote last time. Amen, brother. He brings excitement. He does. He brings excitement. Put a pin in that. You have these people. These people were never the left. They were never pro-America. These people were out for the destruction of America. They claim to be pro-Palestinian groups, but they aren't. They're just political terrorists. They're the people that want Trump in charge. Why? They want to destroy our country. And Trump will do that. Trump will do that. Trump and Netanyahu will destroy Israel. They will. Netanyahu keeps going down the path he is. He's going to now invade Gaza 100%, reoccupy it. Folks, that's going to be a horrific terroristic war that's going to bring nothing but death and destruction. It is. It is 100% the wrong direction. We need to be talking about political autonomy. We need to be talking about a Palestinian state, not occupation. But had Kamala Harris been in place, we would be moving towards that. Netanyahu wouldn't be able to do this. The decimation we saw in Gaza, we would have continued to restrict their arms. We would have continued to restrict we would have forced the right wing in Israel to hold snap elections, and Netanyahu would have been gone. That's what would have happened. But that's not what these people that I just showed you are here for. They know Netanyahu is the destruction of Israel, and that's what they want. They know Trump and the Republicans are the destruction of the United States of America, and that's what they want. Yet they hide as fake leftists. And they say stupid shit that is just not true. And there are people that get emotionally caught up in it, that hate what they're seeing, that aren't sophisticated, that don't know the region, don't know the meaning of most of the words they say, and they get caught up in it. And the net result, our coalition fractures. And when our coalition fractures, they win. And it's the only way they win. Because in a straight up kicking ass contest between all Democrats in an unfractured coalition and all Republicans, we always have more votes. There are always more of us than them. Brian Pizza, Bibi needs to be sent to jail. Yes, he does. What he's doing in Gaza is murder, plain and simple. Trump and Bibi are criminals and must be treated as such. Canada should distance themselves from criminal governments. Canada needs to be applying the pressure that we were applying. Europe is doing that. France is doing that. The UK is doing that. They're continuing to pressure Israel. It is only Trump that is Netanyahu's lifeline, and he cannot save him forever. He cannot. Mr. Newton, Netanyahu will bring misery to his tiny country. Imagine what could do to that tiny place. Let's hope it never happens. Yeah. Yeah. And I was asked this question. This was from a very, very well-intended person. And it is a great question. And I'm going to answer it. I promised them I would answer it here on the show. This was sent to me on Blue Sky. This is the question. It was from Avenging Phantom Memes. Texas Paul, question. I know Bibi is the Donald J. Trump of Israel. He is. He used extremists to seize leadership. He did. Just like Donald J. Trump. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. I realize, like Donald J. Trump, Bibi does not represent the majority of Israel. He does not. Hypothetically, if the U.S. were to totally stop funding Bibi, how much military power would he still have? Good question. If so, would AIPAC money for U.S. politicians dry up? Again, the whole AIPAC boogeyman. Okay. How much power? Okay. Well, let's deal with if the U.S. cut off all support. I hear this all the time. The Democrats have to be destroyed because they didn't cut off all support for Israel. And that's what has to be done to change the situation. How? Donald Trump is president. Republicans control all of Congress. They will not even apply pressure. And no, the Democrats would never cut off all support to Israel, just like we will not voluntarily starve Gazans because we hate Hamas. But that seems to be a purity test for these people that aren't thinking. It's really simple when you think. Democrats would never starve Gazans and Palestinians over Hamas. Never. Why would we cut off all support to Israel because of Netanyahu? That's fucking dumb. Of course we wouldn't. Israel has been our ally. They continue, even though Netanyahu is a sick bitch that is selling out to Putin, the people of Israel continue to be our ally. No, I'm not going to sell them out. But we could have cut off enough. We could have put enough pressure on them, which is what Kamala Harris promised to do. To pressure and force snap elections in Israel, to root out these radical ass freaks like Itamar Ben-Gvir, Bezalel Smotrich, and all these people that are just sick Israelis. Get them out of power so that Israel can live in peace, just like we want for Palestine. So that answers that question. The other question is, would Israel not be able to fight if we didn't support them? That is simply not true. Israel, we buy weapons from Israel. We buy weapons from them. We don't just give them. Israel is an arms manufacturer. They sell weapons globally. Yeah. We don't give them weapons. We didn't give them artillery shells. We didn't give them dumb bombs. They make their fucking own. Yeah. Just because you cut off funding and you squeeze the left wing in Israel out of power and you provide Netanyahu the fear he needs, no, that doesn't stop Netanyahu or his military at all. I hope that answers your question. The other question is, does AIPAC money then dry up? No. Make that AIPAC thing a purity test for Democrats, and all you're doing is ensuring that nothing but Republicans get that money. Then what? Do you want Democrats to pay their bills with purity? Run their elections with what? Charisma? Because not only do the Democrats not have that money, the Republicans have it all now. to use against us. So not only have you taken our money away that we have been using to put pressure on Netanyahu, you're taking that money away from us, you're giving it to Republicans. To me, that's fucking stupid. So how do we win? Well, now, before the election cycle, because those groups that want to destroy America and the Republicans, the bots and the Russian bots, they all want this to flow into the election cycle. They want this division and this crack to flow into the election cycle. We can't allow that. Nobody likes that. You don't enjoy this conversation. I lose audience share every time we have to have one of these conversations. Nobody likes talking about Gaza and Israel, except for the people that love the division. They're the only people that enjoy this. Nobody else wants to talk about it. There's huge fatigue over this. We've got to end it. We have got to end it. And the way we do it is starting with the same way I changed the Democratic Party when I got here. The Democratic Party didn't used to be brawlers. They didn't used to cuss back. They didn't used to call out Republicans for my friend on the other side of the aisle and I disagree. That used to be it, man. That was as hard as it got. I changed that. I made it okay to cuss back. I made it okay to call them fucking pedophiles and fucking pedophile lovers. And I can prove it. I brought receipts. You changed the law to protect pedophiles, you fucking pedophile lovers. That's normal now. Just makes common sense, right? That's how we change this. Eject the purists. They were never going to help us. They were never going to vote for us. Their goal is to suppress our voter turnout. That is their goal. To suppress our voter turnout. Even the ones that aren't the fake left, it's still their goal to suppress our voter turnout because they think it's okay to say, you will follow my one little ship on this one little issue, even though I agree with 90%, 95% of what you say, and we share the same values. Because this one issue, you will not go as far as I want you and I demand you go, I will destroy our coalition. Those people have to be weeded out now. I just ejected a longtime audience member who will never be back. It's what we have to do because their message suppresses the vote. It suppresses the excitement. Every time Democrats do something right, they suppress it. And the Republicans love it. So you want to win? Clean up your own backyard first. Clean up your own backyard first. Ron Slater, thanks for another great show, Paul. Going to support Texas Dems in Illinois and public radio and media in my state this month. So I am light today. No, hey, man, I am grateful for you just being here, Ron. Thank you, man. E.T., too many people forget that today's problems are complex and the solutions are never simple. But simple things feed the not so smart and feed discord. Republicans live on it because, like I said, they're a monolith that shits on their own people. They shit on their own people. They screw their own interests, yet they survive and thrive. because they keep our coalition fighting. It's how they do it. Well, I love you folks. We have gone way, 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 way long. This is now a 2.5 hour show. And I appreciate you being here. And I appreciate you. I hope that you can take this information and we can build a better future with it. Thank you for all the support. I'm incredibly grateful. Cannot do it without you. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.